In the studio with us today is Elgin Police Chief Jeff Swoboda. Welcome, Jeff. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Good morning.
Saw you yesterday, just real quick, talk about that at the memorial service for Gordon Schnulle. Thank you. And it was good to see Elgin represented there nicely as well. I saw Pat Perez from Kane County. South Elgin was represented, I think, before, just as I was leaving. So yeah, Randy Andine came in. Hero. I mean, just great guy too. If you knew him, and I know you did. You know, Mike Hunziker had formed quite a friendship with him. You know, previous tough going. You know,
yeah.
But almost 90 strong years. You know, he's 89 and he lived them fully. So it was good.
Sure did. And right up till the end, he was just a. You're right. I mean, you talk about all the war stuff and things, but even more than that, just as a guy, as a gentleman,
right.
as a friend. He used to stop down at the police department regularly when he was still out and about, and I don't know how many he gave out. I'm sure he gave out many, but I was one of the proud owners of some of the sand that he brought back. He passed out some sand from when he was back in the war, and I don't like many things on my desk. I try to keep a pretty clean desk, but that is one of the things that I keep with me, and it's just yeah, he was just a great guy. He was, like you said, almost 90 strong years, and at the Senior Service Center, when you go down there, and he was he was the life of the party.
Oh yeah, he was.
And some of the pictures, and you know, we were able to talk with his wife Dorothy yesterday for a little while, and
good to see her yesterday too.
Yeah,
as well. Yeah,
you know, and I'm happy I was able to. And Sherry and Kevin Williams and I went over to the house, and we posted some pictures online when we went there before Christmas.
Yeah.
And just was able to visit with them. So I'm very happy I was able to spend some time with them at that time. But yeah, it's sad going. It's life, isn't it? I mean, it's just none of us live forever. Right. But I tell you, the impact he had, I know, on me and there are many people much closer than I was with him. But it's one of those guys. If you just met him for 5-10 minutes, you love that guy. You know, and you just. And so, if any of us can leave this earth and have the impact that he had and the service he gave to our country, I think we'd leave with some fulfillment.
Some videos and stuff of interviews that he had done and different things, and it was just remarkable the gamut of ages and the interactions that he had. There was one video I'm thinking of in my mind where he's kind of dancing with kids that had to be 10, 11, 12 years old maybe at the most, and he's just kind of up there dancing with them and having a good time, and it was nothing to him. Put me up on that stage, I'm probably just standing there, you know, twiddling my thumbs going, what am I supposed to be doing? But not Gordon, you know, he was just the life of the party, like you said.
Yeah. Sounds about the age he was, you know, a 10, 11-year-old for life. I mean, that he had that kind of outlook, and he was just, again, just a friendly guy, and he'd definitely be missed. I know many people, not a dry eye in the house, walking up there and seeing him and put to rest, and with all of his, you know, military honor, and I know today is the actual funeral, but sad day, and wish Dorothy the best. I'm sure many people will be reaching out to her to make sure she's comforted during these tough times, but it'll be all of our time someday, and so we're going to miss him.
No great transition from that. Of course, our thoughts go out to the Schnulle family, but get down to some of the things that are going on in Elgin. Aside from that, a couple things last night. It looks like you guys had some press releases coming out now, or some information coming out. Some things that happened last night. There was a girl, I don't know the age, if you maybe have that was shot on or near Route 31 in Elgin. Yeah,
you know, I don't have her age. We had information, and this came out later last night, and I think it was right around 10:30 or so. And
not life-threatening injury at this point.
No, I think I even treated and released already. Okay. So the press release will be coming out today, so I don't want to misspeak, so I'm not dodging it all. I just don't want to misspeak. I know that there were a couple people walking in the area down there on 31 and near the downtown, and some words were exchanged with some people in a car, and then some shots rang out, and she apparently was hit in the leg and was taken to the hospital, and we treated and released. We're getting statements as we speak, and like I said, I know the detectives, our gang unit, is the ones that are taking the lead on this. So they're going to be getting us more information, and I think we're going to be having a press release coming out probably maybe by the time the show is going on. I know they're working on one this morning. So nothing really much more than that, and as soon as we get more, we'll definitely put it out. But that's came out about last time, about 10:30.
Also last night, I don't know whether or not related, but an arrest made on an individual with a BB gun, apparently, right?
Yeah, a couple kids. We got a call about some windows being broken out, and went and found them and got some descriptions of a vehicle. Officers did a nice job and researched the vehicle and checked the areas, and we were eventually able to locate a car with a couple kids in it, and eventually brought them down to the station, and we got arrests on them for multiple, I want to say more than 5 different criminal damages where people had their windows shot out with BB guns.
Yeah, were these targeted?
You know, I don't know. I don't know. I believe it was just kids out and about, just thinking it was maybe fun. But as far as gang and that type of stuff, I don't believe that has anything to do with it. But they were just out shooting windows with a BB gun and causing a lot of damage.
With these BB guns, I know some of them. If my memory serves me correct, but I thought a couple of years ago they passed a law where they had to have like an orange barrel or a tip on it or something to indicate that it wasn't a real gun, because they were starting to look real lifelike, right? I mean,
yeah, I think when you buy them but in Elgin, what's interesting is you can't even possess a BB gun out on the city streets. The only time you can use a BB gun is on your own property.
So if you're doing like targets or something.
Exactly, and the BB can never fly across any city property. So from your backyard, you can't be shooting at other people, or playing with somebody else across the street, or shooting at birds or something like that. You can't do that at all. And that was part of the issue we were having. Is kids were driving around with a BB gun, and they get in an argument, and somebody in the other car would just raise up the gun and just look what I have, and then we get a call of a subjects with guns, and we do a traffic stop, and obviously. Someone could get hurt in that, and over the years throughout the nation, many
you got a
people
gun, I got a gun too. Only this one's real,
right?
That's what I was thinking.
And then the police, but then also the police officers are pulling up somebody. Oh, it's just they don't hear what they're saying. They see them pulling out a gun, and people have been killed that way. So in the city of Elgin, the only time it's basically like a real gun as far as transporting it is take that back, prior to concealed carry, but it has to be cased. It has to be it can't be
separate. It has to
out
be
of
taken
it,
apart, right?
So this is just for a BB gun, right? And so as far as they can't really take those apart. It's really just a matter of cased and not right there in the passenger compartment, because BB guns, although they can be fun, they can also get people hurt and cause a lot of damage as well. And so I know there are multiple people who had their windows shot out last night, and so with the BB guns. So they've been charged, and it was a good arrest by the officers, but just dumb by the kids doing it.
With concealed carry, and maybe that's a topic for another show. We can talk about how that relates in Elgin. I mean, I'm not sure everybody knows everything about what you have to do in order to go through certain classes. You've got
the training you have to have. You have to have a license, and we could spend an entire show. I know Deputy Chief Wolf has really been taking the lead in doing a lot of presentations out in the community at neighborhood, Kiwanis groups and things like that, Rotary, and getting out in the community to kind of explain it. So we've had a lot of people asking what it is. And really what we refer a lot to is going online. If you go to the State of Illinois website and through the state police, they've got everything online. What it is, what you have to do, how do you get a permit, who can get a permit, or a concealed carry license. So that's what we really refer people to. And there's a lot of unanswered questions, a lot of, we're working through with our officers as well, as far as how we handle these instances. Somebody's arrested, they have the gun, how do we transport the gun? I know the fire department, and we've got a lot of these things worked out, but, transporting somebody gets in a crash and they have the gun on their hip, what do we do with this? So there's, it seems pretty simple as far as, you can just have it, but then there's a lot of side, where to leave it when you have to go into a place that doesn't allow the gun, in the parking lot, in the
car,
and then so there's just a lot of questions and a lot of things that we're just going to kind of be learning as we go, quite honestly. But we're the last state to get this, so other states have figured it out, and we're working through it now.
Your chief of police opinion on concealed carry, or am I getting too political with you?
No, I'm hired to enforce the law, and it's the law of the land, and we will enforce the law the way it is, and I don't think people care much about they want a police chief who's going to enforce the laws that are out there. So they care what my opinion is when I run to be a politician.
Wait, are you running for? Is it a
currently no.
Okay.
Currently no.
You guys had a walk and talk. Was that last night or Wednesday night?
We had one on, I believe it was Wednesday night. Yeah, Wednesday night we had over on the east side.
Squire Village, Poplar Creek area, neighborhood.
Yeah, area. That's we've been doing these walk and talks for a few years, and we've got a lot of positive feedback and a lot of great information, communication exchange. Really, for those who don't know, it's just we get a group of officers that go out of all ranks, from myself down to we have newer officers, we have CSOs. I know we're going to try and get some civilians involved in it with this year as well, with some of our walk and talks, and really just get out in the neighborhood, remind the community that the police department's here for them, not just for the big calls and calls when something major is going on, but if you have some minor issues that you want us to help work through, we're here for you. So we started these walk and talks, a lot of positive feedback, and what we're working on is this last one. We had a newer officer. It's just been on about a year or so. Recognized we've had an increased call for service last year. It was very busy, so put together an entire plan on how many officers he would like to have, days a week. He did a study, along with he had some help on it from some other officers. But what days of the week the crimes were occurring, and it wasn't always just crimes. It was sometimes disorder type of issues. Loud music,
or just calls.
Right.
Yeah.
Parking issues, speeding. So I know we recently, and we've talked about on this show, passed a local ordinance where we can now enforce some of the traffic laws on it because it's private property out there. So this is just now the next step. We're now passing out some information, some literature on what things are legal, what's illegal, our sound issues, the ordinances, drinking in public area on private property, what are those laws. So we're passing that out to just warn people, not just show up and start writing tickets and arresting people, but basically saying, this summer's not going to be like last summer. We're going to be out here and we're going to be addressing issues from the get-go. So I was very proud to see that officers are coming up with this. Even it's kind of the culture that we have within the police department, that everybody's expected to chip in, and the best decisions rarely come from my office. They come from the offices or many times people who don't even have offices. They're out there in the squad car and they got ideas. Why don't we do this? Exactly. Yeah. And this was another example of that. So we took it and ran with it. And I know Katie Potts, one of our sergeants, and Lieutenant Saganic have worked with it. So I'm excited to see how this works out. But hopefully we reduce some of the calls for service out there and some of the crime that was occurring.
Also have a Mulberry court, and that's your old stomping grounds, right?
Yeah.
Party going on there this weekend?
Party Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of the same thing, right? Just get out in the neighborhood, hold an event where it might be an easier approach to someone you're standing there having a hot dog with and say, hey, excuse me, officer, I got a question for you, right?
Exactly.
That's kind of the purpose?
Yeah, Officer Varga is, it's the resident officer. We tried this new approach where he's the resident officer because we're not sure how long we're going to be in the neighborhood, so we didn't buy a house or rent an apartment. So he lives elsewhere, but he comes and that's his area.
Okay.
He treats it just like a resident officer program in that he's responsible for reducing the calls for service, reducing crime, increasing the quality of life issues that are going on in those areas. And so we're very excited to see what this summer looks like because he went in there in the fall and has really made some inroads and has met with the landlords, met with many residents, has gotten to know the kids. And so the summer is really kind of the true test to see how things are going out there. And so with this is just, hey, it's springtime. It's May now. As you guys just informed me before the show, as I was talking about April still. It is May, and we are going to be out here, and if you see a squad car, and come up and say hi. We're out here to help you, any issues that are going on, and so Officer Varga's done a great job, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, the party is this Saturday.
911 presentation we had a couple of weeks ago where I think it was Telecommunicator Month in April, yeah. And we had individual on from your telecommunications department.
Bill Wolf was Pete here?
Yes,
Pete
yep. Thank you. And he was talking about a presentation that they were going to be putting on for kids, and you had that just this past week, is that right?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
It went great. I was able to stop out along with our communications director, Sergeant Adam Schusler, and they did a great presentation, and a lot of very lively kids. I think they were all either maybe kindergarten and first grade, or first grade and second grade. So, and I want to say there were 100 of them. I want to say there were 100 of them in the gym, and it was an exciting event. And so there's a neat little video that goes through, but really, Chana and I'm trying to remember who else was with me, but they were able to give an entire, Aaron Murphy was able to give an entire presentation on when to call 911, how do you do it from a cell phone, why you don't do it as a joke, when you call, what the questions are going to be asked, so that if you see your parent who needs help or something, obviously if there's an adult there, let the adult call 911, but if they're not and you're home alone or you need help, here's how you do it, here's the information we need, And so it was just kind of a very fun presentation, but it still hopefully got the message. You know, I might have been one of those kids when I was younger that, you know, was interested when you call 911 what really happens.
Mm-hmm. I was too.
There's many of us, and officers spend many calls going, and so they even give it in this presentation. If you do that by accident, don't just hang up, because we're going to be coming back, and I learned they do call right back when that happens. And the parents get very mad at you. What we want you to do is just say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm okay. I just, I accidentally dialed it," so that we don't, because we'll send an officer, and I think it's important for everyone to know that if you need help and you can't speak, if you call 911, we're going to be coming, and if we're going to be asking you what's going on, where you at. But if you can't speak, and for whatever reason, whether it's health or something going on in your house, if you just dial 911 and set the phone down, we'll be coming for you. We'll be able to figure out where you're at within, obviously, if you can give us an address or do something to help us know where you're at, it makes it much, much easier. But if it's your home line or a cell phone, we'll figure out where you're at and come and help you. So it was a great presentation they did. It was lively. Like I said, 100 and something probably students there, and I think we're going to be doing more of these. And next year they want to get to eventually every classroom of those age groups throughout the entire, through all the schools in Elgin. So very, very ambitious goal, but they're motivated to do it. It's great for them. They get out of the communications room. They're able to get back out in the community and see the faces of people that are actually they're interacting with. And they do a great job every day up in the communications division, and it's just a nice time for them to go out and actually explain what they're doing to people and what they can do to help them. So just another extension of what we're doing with community information, giving them the information they need to help us, and it's a win-win when that happens.
We also have the last thing I wanted to touch on, and turn it over to you, and we'll see if we have time. Lieutenant Rawson, who I know have met before. Second person in a matter of, 2 years now?
2 years now, yeah.
Who's going on to, Cecil, who's going on to become chief. Mm-hmm. And he's going up to Lakewood, so not quite as far as Florida, which is just up by Crystal Lake.
Right.
I go through there quite often, or used to anyway, through Lakewood.
You're not going to not go because he's the
chief?
chief?
No, not now. That's where I set out my list. That and Gilbert's, I'm disappointed. But congratulations to him. Speaks volumes to the department, doesn't it? And as well as himself, obviously.
Yeah. I think you hit it on the head. I think it first and foremost speaks of just what he's able to do, and I gave a few comments to the press as well that he's definitely ready. He is just a very bright person. He's been with the police department now 20 years, and he runs our midnight shift. And that's an interesting shift because...
I saw he had his J.D. law degree.
Yeah, law degree.
Yeah. John Marshall Law School is a good school.
The talent throughout, and that's why I try to bring in more and more people. It's not just to not be here on Friday morning. And I know Bill mentioned that last week, but the talent really is just so deep within the police department. And I go to neighborhood meetings, and people are always, thanking me, and you're doing a great job, and I get a lot of that. I also get you're doing a terrible job. So it's both type of thing. But it's really, part of it's me, but the vast majority of the things we do and accomplish are really just we just have so much talent within the police department. Everybody's stepping up and doing things and getting involved. And together, collectively, along with what the community does to assist us, it just really just grows and grows. And so that's where we're able to make these large leaps in reducing crime and actually turning these neighborhoods around. We just had the press with us from a neighboring community. I'm not sure when it's coming out, so when the story comes out, I'll talk about it, but I'm not sure if they're ready to release it. But a town not too far away coming to Elgin to learn about how Elgin has done it with their public safety and turned it around and reducing crime continuously, the amount of input we get and community engagement that we have, what are some of the things that we're doing, and some of the things we talked about, I was talking about with the reporter, it's not just the police department, it's, I think City Manager Stiegel really pushes it, it's one Elgin, so it's what is code doing, what's fire doing, what's, finance doing, what's 311, how does that play in, and that all of us, again, together can really make a difference. So, all of that back to Rawson. He's ready. He's going to do a fantastic job. I'm extremely proud because you're right. I think it says a lot about the organization that when other places are looking for police chiefs, many times they come to Elgin and see that we have many layers of talent. And again, because the reporter asked me, well, are you planning on leaving? I said, because I always make the statement that when I leave, one of the things that I think about a lot is making sure that there's somebody within the organization that could just step up, and I think the community deserves it, and the officers deserve a smooth transition, continue on the same path that we're going, because we're doing so many positive things that there are many people within the police department that could step on and take my role on without it, and there wouldn't even be a hitch. And so I spent a lot of my time thinking about succession planning and who's the next person, and not just with the chief job, but with some of these changes, as Lee Rawson gets promoted, now there's going to be a sergeant coming in, and do we have sergeants that are prepared? And that's going to create a void in one of our traffic divisions. So who are we going to put there? And so all of these things, it's a multi-layer issue. When somebody's leaving, that's great, but what's the void left behind? And I'm happy to say that we've got, we'll miss Lee, but we're going to be having now Lieutenant Colin Fleury, who's as solid as they come, and from there, Ken Erickson, one of our former rope officers, is going to be promoted to sergeant, and so it's great when we're able to have these things. So we're proud of Lee. I already talked to him about coming on the radio show before he leaves. So if not next week, the week after, and he can talk a little bit about and answer any questions. But it says a lot, and so the Elgin community should be very proud that, again, when people are looking for police chiefs, they know come look in Elgin, because we do it right, and we've been doing it right for years. And I'm basically able to just continue on the transition. Chuck Gruber started the thing with community policing 20-something years ago, and that's I give him a lot of the credit of changing mindsets and setting us on this path, because we're doing good things. I'm excited.
It's evident. Thank you, Jeff.
Appreciate
Thanks for coming in. Congratulations to Lieutenant Rawson, and look forward to seeing
Chief
him.
Rawson.
Chief Rawson. Well, he's still Lieutenant.
I know. But they already changed his name on his
Oh,
office.
did they?
Somebody put a sticky note.
I was going to say, did they do it with tape?
Exactly.
Yes, nice.
And he's making everybody call him Chief. Hey, listen, there's only one chief in this department.
That's right.
All right. Thank you very much, Jeff.
Thanks,
You're
guys.
listening to AM 1410 WRMN.
And Elgin.